Another video of LOGY of BIOS. In the previous video, we have discussed about definition of digestion, need for digestion, various structures in the buccal cavity like tongue, tooth, palate, uvula. We also discussed about the difference between taste and flavor. So in this video, we will discuss about the rest of the digestive tract. So without further delay, let's start. Now the next part is pharynx. Pharynx is the membrane-lined cavity behind nose and the mouth. It connects the nose with the mouth. Okay, pharynx connects nose with the mouth. Pharynx is commonly referred to as the throat, and it is the common passage for both food as well as air. Pharynx is divided into three parts: the nasopharynx or the nasal part, this yellow in color nasopharynx, then oropharynx or oral part, this blue in color, then laryngopharynx or larynx part, it is purple in color. So after laryngopharynx, our pharynx divides into two branches: the esophagus or food pipe and the trachea or windpipe. Okay, so after pharynx we have the esophagus. Esophagus is a long 25 centimeter tube which connects the buccal cavity or oral cavity with the stomach. Okay, esophagus connects buccal cavity with stomach. Esophagus have two sphincters. If you remember, sphincters were a ring of circular muscles which allows the entry or exit of some materials. So this one is the upper esophageal sphincter. It is located near the throat and it is voluntary. That means it is in our control, voluntary, and anything which is voluntary is made up of skeletal muscles. Okay, so upper esophageal sphincter is located near the throat. It is voluntary and made up of skeletal muscles. But this one is the lower esophageal sphincter. This is located near the heart and this is involuntary, IV. This is involuntary, and anything which is involuntary is generally made up of smooth muscles. So this lower esophageal sphincter is made up of smooth muscles. It is involuntary and it is located near the heart. Clear? Now peristalsis. Peristalsis is an involuntary wave-like movement that push the contents of the canal forward. It comprises contraction and relaxation. See here, contraction and here relaxation. As a result, the food or bolus moves in the forward direction, and peristalsis is controlled by a network of nerves known as mesenteric plexus. Okay, mesenteric plexus controls this peristalsis. Next, some esophageal disorders. Okay, so the first one is heartburn or pyrosis or GERD, that is gastroesophageal reflux disease. It occurs when this lower esophageal sphincter, which is located near the heart, it fails to contract. As a result, the opening is not closed and there is a chance that acidic contents of the stomach may go into the esophagus and it may burn them completely. So overall, a burning sensation happens in the chest, and as this area is near the heart, it is called heartburn because it seems like heart is burning. Okay, so next one is achalasia cardia. This is a condition in which this lower esophageal sphincter, this is not able to relax. As a result, the foods cannot enter into the stomach. Okay, food cannot go into the stomach. So achalasia cardia is a condition in which sphincter cannot relax, and heartburn or pyrosis is a condition in which sphincter cannot close. Okay, clear? So now gastrointestinal tract or GI tract. We have already discussed this in our previous video. Okay, so if you have not watched it, go to our playlist and please watch it. So we are left with the layers. So if we think our GI tract as a pipe and cut it transversely, okay, and see it, then we will get these four layers. First one is serosa or visceral peritoneum. peritoneum. Okay, serosa is the peritoneum. Serosa, see here, is the first peritoneum outside. It is outside the first layer. Okay, serosa. Next is the muscularis layer. Okay, serosa was the first one. Our first hero is serosa, and second is muscularis. Okay, there are two layers of muscularis. One is longitudinal and one is circular. Longitudinal is outer. Okay, it runs parallelly through our GI tract. See, they run parallelly. And circular muscularis, they are ring shaped. See, they are ring shaped, ring in shape. Circular muscularis, this one is the circular muscularis, ring shaped, and these are parallel muscularis or longitudinal muscularis. And remember, throughout the GI tract we have these two muscularis. In stomach there is one more muscularis layer added, that is oblique muscularis. They are horizontal in shape or slash shaped. Okay, there in stomach there is one more muscularis layer known as oblique muscularis. So first one is serosa, then muscularis, then submucosa. Submucosa is the third one. See, this one is the submucosa. Finally, the fourth one is mucosa. Mucosa has tiny folds. These folds are known as folds of Kerr-Kring. Okay, these folds are known as folds of Kerr-Kring. Lumen is the hollow space through which food moves. The whole GI tract is about 9 meters long, and it is long at autopsy. Autopsy is during postmortem, after death during postmortem. Generally, our intestines are coiled to fit in small area. After death, they relax and it become longer. So plexus, our intestines have mainly two types of plexus. Our GI tract has mainly two types of plexus. First one is myenteric plexus. This is our first one, our first hero, myenteric plexus. This is located between longitudinal and circular muscularis layer. Between longitudinal and circular muscularis layer, there is the myenteric plexus. This is also known as Orbach's plexus, named after Leopold Orbach. He was a German anatomist. Okay, Leopold Orbach. So it controls peristalsis. Okay, so myenteric plexus is located in the layers between longitudinal and circular muscularis. It controls the peristalsis, and its another name is Orbach's plexus. And the second plexus is Meissner's plexus or submucosal plexus. Submucosal plexus is our second hero. Okay, this is located between the muscularis layer and mucosa. That means within the submucosal layer. Okay, this is located within the submucosal layer. And it controls the secretion of intestinal juices. Okay, so we got two plexus. Plexus are actually network of nerve cells, and we got two plexus. One is myenteric plexus, which is located between longitudinal and circularis muscularis, and it controls peristalsis. One is submucosal plexus, which is located between muscularis and mucosa, and it controls intestinal juices. Next is mesentery. Mesentery is a fold of peritoneum which attaches the stomach, the intestines, pancreas and spleen and other organs in the abdomen to its location. Mesentery holds these organs to their proper location. Okay, so see here, this one is the mesentery and this one is the small intestine. Okay, now gaster or stomach. Stomach is also known as gaster. And stomach is a J-shaped, remember J-shaped, look, J-shaped organ which is used for digestion, and it has mainly four parts. Okay, this one, the top part is fundus or fundic part. This is generally filled with gases. Next, this one is cardiac part. The name suggests that it is located near the heart region, so the name cardiac part. Then the body part, this one is the body, and finally the pyloric or the end portion. Now this pyloric part is also divided into two parts, that is pyloric antrum and pyloric canal. And finally there is the pyloric sphincter or the sphincter, which allows the chyme or acidic content plus bolus of the stomach to move into the first part of small intestine, that is duodenum. So this pyloric sphincter controls the exit of contents of stomach, and this esophageal sphincter, gastroesophageal sphincter, controls the entry of the items in stomach. Now if you remember the layers, First one is serosa. Then see here are three muscularis layer. One is longitudinal, then circulari, and finally oblique muscularis. See, longitudinal, circulari, and oblique musculari layer. Then the submucosa and finally mucosa. Okay, this one is the greater curvature and this one is the lower curvature. Nothing to explain in that. Now gastric rugae or gastric folds. There are tiny folds of membrane in the stomach. They are known as gastric rugae. Remember, in the palate we found tiny folds and they were known as palatine rugae because they were found in palate, and in stomach we found them, so we call them gastric rugae. Okay, these are rugae. And if you remember, bolus is chewed food mixed up with saliva. Chewed food mixed up with saliva is called bolus, and this bolus, when mixed up with acidic content of stomach, is known as chyme. So chyme is acidic content of the stomach plus bolus. Okay, clear? And walls of stomach absorbs some things. They are alcohol, then lipid soluble drugs, then some sugars and some water. These things are absorbed by walls of stomach. Okay. Now gastric factor or Castle factors. They were discovered by W.B. Castle, an American physician and physiologist. Okay. There are two factors, Castle extrinsic factor and Castle intrinsic factor. This extrinsic factor is known as vitamin B12. Okay, here are some sources of vitamin B12. They are fishes, oysters, eggs, milk, and some other meats. These are some sources. And this intrinsic factor, they are the main. Intrinsic factors are a glycoprotein which are produced by parietal or oxyntic cell of the stomach, and they are necessary for the absorption of vitamin B12. And vitamin B12 helps in the generation of RBCs or erythrocytes. Okay, and poiesis is the term which means generation, and erythro means red or RBC. Erythrocytes means RBC. So erythropoiesis is generation of RBC. So vitamin B12 helps in erythropoiesis or generation of RBCs. Now surgical removal of stomach is known as gastrectomy. In biology, wherever you will find this word tommy, it means cutting. We study anatomy. Ana means upon and cutting means tommy. Anatomy means upon cutting what you see. Upon cutting what you see, that is anatomy. So gastrectomy is cutting of gaster or stomach. There are several reasons to cut a stomach, but main reason is ulcers, peptic ulcer. They are caused by Helicobacter pylori. See here in the picture, stomach is cut, then sewed and it is removed. Now if stomach is cut, then a condition known as pernicious anemia occurs. Pernicious anemia is a condition in which our body does not have enough red blood cells in our blood. Okay, this is because our body cannot absorb enough vitamin B12 for erythropoiesis. Okay, if stomach is removed, then Castle intrinsic factor will not be formed. If Castle intrinsic factor is not formed, then absorption of vitamin B12 will not take place. And if vitamin B12 is not absorbed properly, then our RBCs will not be formed. As a result, pernicious anemia occurs. Okay. Now the question of the day. Okay, quiz 2. I have the largest brain amongst land animals. My families are called herds. I love water. I can peel banana and some other foods. I live almost as long as you, but I am scared of dogs. Tell me, who am I? So answers in the comment below. So let me read one more time. I have the largest brain amongst land animals. My families are called herds. I love water. I can peel banana and some other foods. I live almost as long as you, but I am scared of dogs. Tell me, who am I? Okay? Answer in the comment below. So time for answer of quiz 1. I float in water, but I am not a boat. I am officially considered as a herd, but biologically I am a berry. You share 50% DNA with me, and I am remarked as the fruit of wise man. Tell me, who am I? So answer of this question is banana. Okay, you can do this experiment. You can take a bucket and fill it with water and take one banana or a bunch of banana and try to dip it. You will see it will float. Believe me, I have performed this experiment. It works. So banana floats in water and it is considered as a berry. Biologically, it is considered as berry due to the arrangement of seeds in it. Due to the arrangement of seeds. Okay, and we share 50% DNA with it. Yes, of course, you can Google search it in the Google. We share 50% DNA with banana and it is remarked as the fruit of poisoning. So correct answer is banana. Okay, so now small intestine. So small intestine is the last place where digestive enzymes are introduced. Okay, because in large intestine no special digestive enzymes are released. Okay, small intestine is the last place where digestive enzymes are released, and it is a very long area. Okay, allowing time and space to break food properly. A small intestine is said small due to its diameter, not length. In length it is larger than large intestine. Okay, and anything which starts digest anywhere, either mouth or stomach or anywhere, it must complete in this intestines, because after this intestines it will go to the rectum and finally egested through anus. Remember, stool is egested but we excrete urine. Okay, urine excretion and stool egestion. So our first part is duodenum. See the yellow part, it is the duodenum. So our first part is duodenum. Duodenum actually means 12. Okay, duodenum means 12. It is said so because it is as long as your 12th finger, approximately 25 centimeter. And main thing to remember is hepatopancreatic duct opens here. Hepatopancreatic duct is a duct from liver. Hepa is liver and pancreatic is from pancreas. So the duct from liver and duct from pancreas, they both join up together to form the hepatopancreatic duct. And this duct opens here in duodenum. Iron is chiefly absorbed here. Okay, so next part is jejunum. See this one dark purple color, this is jejunum. Okay, and it is about 2.5 meters long, and main thing to remember is it is thick and highly vascular. Okay, highly vascular means its walls has more numbers of blood vessels, and folds of Kerckring are most prominent. Folds of Kerckring are valves or folds of the mucosa layer. Okay, folds of mucosa layer. So folds of Kerckring increase surface area. They are most prominent in jejunum, and jejunum is named so because jejunum means empty, and when we die, if we cut our jejunum, we found it empty. We always find it empty. So jejunum is named empty. Jejunum means empty. Next part is ileum. Ileum is 3.5 meter long, and Pierce patch are most common structures. Most prominent Pierce patch are lymphoid tissues, some lymph nodules. Okay, they produce lymphocytes. Okay, so remember duodenum is the first part. Duodenum, it is 12 fingers long. Hepatopancreatic duct opens here. Iron is mainly absorbed here. Next is jejunum. It is 2.5 meters long and highly vascular and thick. Folds of Kerckring are most prominent. Finally, ileum is 3.5 meter long, and Pierce patch, it is the most common. So after intestine, we come to villi. So villi are the tiny finger-like projections that extend into the lumen of small intestines. Okay, but clear your concept now. Actually, our intestines have tiny folds. These folds are known as folds of Kerckring. Okay, these folds are known as folds of Kerckring. See, this one is the fold of Kerckring, and this fold of Kerckring has tiny projection known as villus. Villus is singular and villi are in plural. So villi or villus. Okay, folds of Kerckring has villus on it. These villus are covered by epithelial cells. See, these cells are epithelial cells, and each epithelial cell has tiny projections, finger-like projections known as microvilli. Okay, so our intestines have tiny projection known as folds of Kerckring. This is the fold of Kerckring. And fold of Kernicterus has projection known as villus. This is a villus. Villus has epithelial cells covered upon it, and this epithelial cells has tiny projection known as microvilli. Okay, so this epithelial cells, villi, and plexus circularis. Plexus circularis is another name of folds of Kernicterus or valves of Kernicterus. They increase the surface area 600 times. Just imagine 600 times they increase the surface area. So this is a typical structure of villi from the NCERT. This is the crypt. Crypt is a gland. Intestinal glands are known as crypts. Okay. Now artery, veins, and this green portion is the epithelial cells. There are capillaries. Lacteal is the lymph vessels. Lacteal is the lymph vessel. They actually absorb the end products of fat, that is fatty acid and glycerol, because this fatty acid and glycerol directly cannot enter into the small capillaries. Okay, so lacteal absorbs them, and finally they take it to larger capillaries or larger veins or venules, and then they release them. Okay, so clear. Intestines is fold of Kernicterus. Folds of Kernicterus have villi. Villi have epithelial cell. Epithelial cells have microvilli. Okay. So next is large intestine or large bowel. It is due to the diameter, not length. Okay. So this ileum or last part of the small intestine opens into the place known as cecum. Cecum is a pouch-shaped organ, pouch-like structure, cecum, and there is a ileocecal valve. Ileocecal valve is a valve which controls the movement of this foods. Okay, ileocecal valve controls the movement of foods from intestine, small intestine, to large intestine. Okay, appendix. This appendix is vestigial organ. It is a tube-like structure of the intestines, large intestine. Okay, and till now we have found 3 vestigial organs. If you remember, in our first video we found 2 vestigial organs. They were the philtrum. Philtrum is the depression between your nose and your upper lip, so it is a vestigial. Then the third molar or the wisdom teeth is also remarked as vestigial, though it serves as a grinding surface, but then also it is considered as a vestigial. And appendix is also vestigial. That means it has no use in human, but appendix has use in many herbivores. In herbivores, they help to digest the starch, but humans cannot digest the starch properly. Okay, so appendix has no roles. Now this is the right hepatic flexure or right colic flexure. This is the place where the apex of the liver sits. Okay, here is the apex of the liver sits here. If I draw here liver, see, this is the bigger lobe and this is the smaller lobe. Okay, so here this portion sits here, and this is the left colic flexure or splenic flexure. Here the spleen, the organ known as spleen, it stays here. Okay, and the colon, these are the colons. They are named ascending colon. This is the ascending because it is going up. Okay, so up, so ascending. Then transverse, this is transverse. Then descending because descending it. Sigmoid. Finally rectum is a storage place of stool, and finally egestion place is anus. Okay, remember, stool is egested but urine is excreted. Okay, now tini coli. See, tini coli are 3 separate longitudinal ribbons. These are tini coli. This orange shaped ribbons, are tini coli. Okay, they are generally shorter in length of the large intestine. Large intestines are larger than tini coli. As a result, tini coli contracts the large intestine from both the sides. As a result, pouch-like structures are formed. These pouch-like structures are known as haustra. Okay, haustra are pouch-like structures of the large intestines which are formed due to the contraction of large intestines. Okay, and responsible for the contraction is tini coli. Tini coli is responsible for this contraction. Now appendicitis. Appendicitis is a condition in which the appendix become inflamed with pus. Okay, see, this is the inflamed appendix. Okay, an appendectomy. Tomy is cutting, and appendectomy is appendix, cutting of appendix. So it is surgical operation in which appendix is removed. Okay, so now we have reached our last part. Okay, this anus. in our rectum our stool is stored, and finally it is digested through anus. Now the anus has two sphincters. See, this is the internal sphincter and this is the external sphincter. The internal sphincter is involuntary or IV. It is made up of smooth muscles. And external sphincter is voluntary. Okay, or V. It is made up of skeletal muscles. Okay, so remember the entry of our alimentary canal, entry of food was through two sphincters. The upper one, upper esophageal sphincter, it was voluntary, and the lower one was involuntary. And now the condition has reversed. The upper one is involuntary and lower one is voluntary. Okay. Now piles. Piles are a condition in which the veins of our anus become swollen, and when we pass our stool, sometimes it causes pain and blood flow. Okay, so piles is a pathetic condition. Okay, so there are some degrees of piles. There are first degree piles, second degree piles, third degree and fourth degrees. Okay, so with this we have done. So please like, share and subscribe and help me on my journey. And today we have completed the whole of alimentary canal, and in the next video we will discuss about the digestive glands. Okay, till then, stay well.